gets a workout.
What justification is there for you not to pay her any money?
She was late. Half the classes weren't even 2 hours.
She probably doesn't understand what she's trying to say.
This is Judge Judy. Zumba instructor Taylor Coco Patterson is suing former student Nikki Herrera for the cost of classes.
Judge's case number 94 on the calendar in the matter of Patterson versus Herrera. The parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson, you allege that you had a contract with the defendant, and that contract provided that she was going to pay $2,000 for private dance classes that you were going to provide her. Those dance classes were Zumba classes. That's a very active form of dancing that's really athletic. I tried it once. I wasn't very good at it, but I am familiar with it. How long have you been a Zumba instructor?
For approximately 5 years.
Do you give private lessons as well as lessons for groups?
Yes.
Ms. Herrera, how did you find Ms. Patterson? Who referred you to her?
I actually found her on Instagram. A few people I saw on my timeline had already booked her, and so I just reached out to them.
In what month and year did you reach out to her?
It was January of 2000.
It's a 2-hour drive?
With traffic, yes.
What was the contract you made with her?
So the contract that I made with Taylor was actually for 10 Zumba private classes for the $2,000.
When were they supposed to start?
January 30th of 2020.
Was that a weekend or a weekday?
It was a weekday. Our first class was a weekday.
So you had a round trip of 4 hours on that day?
Correct.
So you went to the first class?
I did.
Did you go to a second class?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date?
I can't remember the exact date, but it was supposed to be on Thursdays and Saturdays. So my first class was on a Thursday, and then the second class was that Saturday.
What was the second date she went for a class, Ms. Patterson?
Well, the first date was January 30th. The second date would have been Saturday, February the 1st, 2020.
So she went one day right after another?
No, it wasn't going to be like that. It was like 2 days a week, typically Thursdays and Saturdays, because those were days that we agreed upon that we would both be available.
Did she attend the class on February 1st?
Yes.
And there were supposed to be 10 of these classes for $2,000. Is that right?
Yes, 2-hour classes, 10 2-hour classes, yes.
Now, you had never met her before, so could you explain to me, as somebody who's been in the business, met her before, could you explain to me why you didn't, as people usually do in this kind of business when they do classes, you want to take 10 classes, great, it's $2,000. You pay up front and then you eat off whatever it is. You not only didn't ask for any money up front, but she didn't even pay you when she came, at least the first 2 classes. You want to explain that to me?
Yes, because the agreement was, number one, the first reason is she was referred by a longtime client of mine.
Well, that's what you say. That's not what she says. She says that she found you through Instagram.
Through a client of mine.
You may have.
So a client that
That's not what she said.
Well, she probably doesn't understand what she's trying to say. A human being referred her to me. So she may have reached out to that human being. That human being reached out to me and then vouched for her as a person that I should work with. So that's how I got the referral. So that's number one. Number two.
Well, she says she got you via Instagram.
But Instagram is
and
like
she
friends.
Got you via
you have
Instagram
friends
from
on Instagram.
Somebody.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that. So she found it on her Instagram. Somebody that she knew had taken classes from you. That person contacted you.
Yes.
And that's how you got together.
Yes.
Okay. She found you on Instagram.
Through a friend, through a mutual friend.
Another person who she was
friends with,
connected to on Instagram.
Who had taken my...
You know, people have 967 people.
Right.
I think I know 967 people in my whole life that I would send a photograph to.
Try 30,000. Anyway,
do you want to try to explain to me why you didn't take any money from her the first 2 classes?
Because the agreement was that I would collect payment at the end of the classes. And, you know, me being...
But that's not a way to do business. Nobody does business like that in the training business. No trainer comes in and says, you do your class.
I do. I have worked with trainers before who I have not paid up front, who have collected from me at the end. So it might not have been the wisest decision. Hindsight is 20/20 vision, you know, but it was the decision I made. I was trying to be friendly, jovial. You know, I thought I could trust her. I have other people who have paid in this same exact manner. I had no problems collecting payment. The classes are worth it. They were good. So the person who referred her was someone I also trusted. So I thought it would be okay this time around.
What's the name of the person who referred you?
Summer.
Summer what?
I only know her first name is Summer. She's not someone I wouldn't know her last name. Instagram is typically Instagram name, first name, but she's my client.
You said she was a very good client of yours.
She was, but
referred to me
by a long-time client.
By a long-time client.
Yes. But
whose last name you don't know?
No, you know how many people I know? I don't know their last names. No. I'm sorry.
Well, if you look on your phone, how would you list Summer if she was a long-time client, if you had to get in touch with her?
Summer Bunny.
So find it in your phone.
It's on my Instagram.
Well, your Instagram is also on your phone.
Right, but what do you want me to do?
Well, if she was a long-time client, let me ask you this question, madam. If you want me to fully understand you.
Okay.
If you had a long-time client whose name was Summer, whose last name you don't know.
Right.
But you got sick, and you had to call them or notify them not to come to the class because you were sick, as you were sick a couple of times when she was supposed to take classes, how would you get in touch with Summer?
Two ways.
You sent her a photograph of you in bed?
No, I could do that with Instagram, but I would text her on Instagram. I would send her a DM on Instagram and let her know that I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't going to be able to make it. And that's how I would reach her. And she might not reply back.
All I want you to do is take out your phone.
Yes.
And show me on Instagram text Summer. And show me that goes through on Instagram. I'm here doing a case with a person you referred to me. I just would like to see it.
No worries. Did I sit it here?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to sit my phone here. So
Great.
Unfortunately, you're going to see other messages I've sent to Summer.
Great.
But this is her profile.
Great. Okay. Now that you've found this, can you find me possibly where you have any communication about the defendant with Summer?
Oh, no, we had verbal conversations. Like at the end of a class, I spoke with her and she mentioned her to me. And also by way of just phone call.
Phone call?
Yeah, phone call or either a class.
Phone call. Well, also a
But she and I, you know, we were doing a class together. No. We were doing a class together and that's where she mentioned her.
Okay. How many classes in total prior to the pandemic did Miss Herrera take from you?
Well, the pandemic happened in March, so I would say 8. Approximately, we complete. No, not approximate, but 8 classes.
Is that correct? How many round trips did you make to her house?
I took 7 classes. She missed the last 3.
No, I missed 2.
It was 3.
I missed 2.
She missed the last 3.
Okay. Did you pay her for those classes?
No.
Why?
Well, I was supposed to pay her at the end of our session, our 10 sessions. We never completed the sessions to even do that.
You took 7 2-hour classes with her. You have any responsibility to pay her?
No, because they weren't even the full classes. She was late. Half the classes weren't even 2 hours. And she didn't, so I don't understand why am I paying for classes that weren't complete?
You have a piece of paper there.
Mm-hmm.
What is that piece of paper?
These are my notes.
What are those 2 pieces of paper?
These are my notes, and this is the invoice. And then one of our text messages that I found. I have a new phone and number, so this was just the last that I had.
Okay. I'd like to see the invoice she sent you. Well, what is that? That is a nothing. Take that away. That's a nothing that somebody made up. Okay. Now let me see the text message. What is this? I'm staying that Friday, leaving on Saturday. Is those messages from her?
So this is my message here. This first message, she missed a lot of...
I'll be there Friday.
Correct. She missed she missed classes, and she was supposed to, let me know when we can make them up. So I was messaging her, letting her know I was going to be in her city this day, but I was not staying. And so I just let us, and she said yes, but it just took her forever to respond.
Unless you need me. Delayed response. I'm preparing for you. Yes, we can get together Saturday afternoon. Also, what about your friend? What's the friend?
She asked me a while back if I knew anyone who did hair, and I sent her the person's name or whatever, and that was it. But they didn't respond back to her, so I think that's what she was responding, like, what happened to your friend? But I called her because it takes her forever to even respond to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I just feel like I came to her classes. I'm driving 2 hours. Half the time, she's late to every class. Why am I paying you for a class and you're not even giving me the full
So why
hours?
didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore?
And later today,
Why don't you sue him? He
I don't-
sold the salon.
Because I have no idea where
He sold the salon.
I have no idea where he is.
That's not my problem.
Zumba instructor Taylor Coco Patterson claims former student Nikki Herrera owes for classes.
Okay, I'm going to take your figure that you took 7 classes. It still means that you owe her $1,400. How can you not pay her anything? What justification do you have? And this is the end of February when you've already taken, if you took, what justification is there for you not to pay her any money?
Okay, first and foremost, Your Honor, I just feel like I came to her classes. I'm driving 2 hours. We get there, half the time she's late to every class. The class is only 2 hours. Why am I paying you for a class, a full class, and you're not even giving me the full
So why
hours?
didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore?
Well, I did later on.
Why didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore? I'm not making a 4-hour trip if you're going to be late.
Well, Your Honor, that's kind of why I kind of just stopped, going to the classes, the last few classes.
Well, that's okay, but then you stop and you pay her. You don't stop and don't pay her.
So I'm going to pay her for
That's
classes
irresponsible.
that didn't get completed? That doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense to me. If you took the class, if you said to her, sorry, you're a half hour late, and if you say it happened the first time she was a half hour late and I had driven 2 hours to get there, I would say, this is not working out for me. I'm going to pay you for the class that I took or the 2 classes that I took, but I'm not coming back here. I'm not making a 4-hour round trip if you're going to be disrespectful of my time and come a half hour late.
I've spoke to her.
And you spoke to her, but you continued to come. You're ridiculous.
I mean, I figured she would change
Pay for
up
the
and
classes. I'm not giving you the $2,000 that you want. I don't think you're entitled to money that you didn't earn, but you did do some work.
I did work.
$1,400 cover the hourly?
Yeah. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
I could have done a better job about collecting payment up front.
It is what it is. I just know not to do business with her again.
She wanted to work on the booty. She wanted to get her booty right.
I had a young man, so I was trying to get my groove back.
Money up front from now on out. You can't trust anyone.
All parties in the matter of Ernst Palmer versus Trivedi Abus Yunus. Step to the podium, please.
Joyette Ernst Palmer is suing Ravi Trivedi and Rabi Abu Yunus for property left behind at a salon they purchased.
Palmer,
Yes.
your business is or was in a tanning salon, and you had your own tanning salon piece of equipment.
Yes, I was a mobile service, and this was the first time I was working out of a salon.
And you brought your machine to a salon.
Correct.
They had nothing to do with the salon that you brought your machine to. Who was the owner of the salon that you brought your machine to?
The owner was Asfer. It was under previous ownership when I was originally hired back in May of 2019.
Okay. Now, at some point, you agreed to sell your mobile unit to Mr. Asfar
Correct.
for $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you make it?
It on January 21st of 2020.
And he paid you for the unit, according to your complaint, $660.
Correct, in increments.
And Mr. Asfar had a balance of $340
Correct.
that he owed you.
Yes.
On the machine.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you were whole. And then Mr. Asfar sold the salon to these 2 gentlemen.
Correct.
That was when? When did you purchase the salon? Month and year?
February 6th, 2020.
When they purchased the salon, did you advise them that the piece of equipment had a balance due of $340?
Yes, I did.
Is that correct?
No, that's
No.
not correct.
Did she at any time tell you that she had a prior agreement with the prior owner to purchase the salon?
No, we were not aware of any prior agreement whatsoever.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, so when did you have a conversation with either one of the two defendants?
I spoke with Robbie. It was in March because I was still waiting for the rest of the money from Mr. S4. And I told him I'm still owed $340 for my equipment.
So why don't you, just a second, why don't you sue him? He sold the salon.
Because I have no idea where.
He sold the salon. Well,
my personal stuff.
That's not my problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you have a lawyer?
It went through my CPA.
So your accountant had to speak to the seller's representative. Just say yes or no.
Yes,
Don't shake your head. This is audio-visual.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joyette Erst-Palmer claims Ravi Trivedi and Rabi Abu Yunus owe for a tanning machine and personal property left behind at a salon they purchased. She is also suing for lost wages.
Okay, go ahead.
They have all my stuff.
No, they
also
have none of your stuff. No.
They have it in the salon. He wouldn't let me take it.
No, listen to me. Because COVID struck, he got rid of all the towels and robes and that stuff that was in the shop. He purchased the shop. Listen, there's no question that they have a contract that they're going to show me. Is that correct? That you purchased the shop and all the stuff in the shop?
That's correct.
You want to put that up there? Good. Just point to the area in the purchase agreement where you purchase everything that's in the salon.
Yes. So we have the excluded liabilities and assumed liabilities.
Oh, well, that's an interesting thing. So, Mr. Erst-Palmer.
Yes.
Not the defendants. You've been paid $660 for your tanning machine on a $1,000 purchase price. Mr. Asfor owes you $340.
Correct.
Not the defendants.
Along with they have my stuff, though, in the salon. I never agreed to sell my personal stuff, just the machine.
Just for my own information, what personal stuff are you talking about?
I brought 2 sheets with me. I brought hair accessories.
I'm not interested in sheets. Not interested in your hair accessories. What's next? Come on.
That is my
You're being
personal
foolish
stuff
with me.
that is my personal stuff that I purchased and I brought from home.
Do you have any of that stuff? Do you have 2 sheets and hair accessories is my question.
We do not have it anything. It
They
was
don't
never
have
there.
it. What's next? Just a second. I don't care. I just want to know if you, I'm just asking if you have her 2 sheets and her hair accessories. I would say if you have them, give them back to her. What else? You're suing the wrong people for your tanning machine. You have to find and sue Mr. Asfor, and maybe they can even help you locate him because they paid him $33,000. So right? You paid $33,000 for the business?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sure you have a bank account that you had to pay the money to unless you paid him in cash. Did you pay him in cash?
We paid via the cashier's check.
Did you have a lawyer on this sale of the business? Did you have
A lawyer.
Fine, so you have an accountant.
Yes, ma'am.
So your accountant had to speak to the seller's representative. Just say yes or no.
Yes,
Don't shake
ma'am.
your head.
Yes,
This is, audio-visual.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I'm directing you to make available to the plaintiff any information that you have that will enable her to locate Mr. Asfor for her $340. Do you understand?
That's correct. We do have his driving license and it has his address. She could reach out.
Perfect.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
That's perfect. What do you want?
They have all my stuff, and I lost wages. I had clients calling.
We're done. They don't owe you a thing. Mr. Asfor owes you $340. Find him. They're going to give you his driver's license. We're finished.
What about my other stuff that's there? If they don't have it, don't they owe me?
No, they owe you nothing.
I'm not owed the money to
They owe
have
you
to repurchase?
nothing. They owe you nothing. They don't owe you for your 2 sheets or your hair accessories. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, her bills.
I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
Next Judge Judy.
I think it was straight to the point and justice was served.
I will be contacting the previous owner.
Get ready to back to business. Yes, please.
Time to get back to business.
A
lost control of the car, and that's when I hit the brick wall, the mailbox, and the fire hydrant.
A friend's wild ride left her fuming.
She had an accident.
She took the car.
She didn't take the car. She had your permission to drive the car.
Okay.
Now the car and the friendship are wrecked.
You want her to pay for all this stuff. It was your fault because you didn't have insurance.
Well...
This is Judge Judy. Jasmine Barris is suing her former friend, Mariah Howard, for crashing her car and for impound fees.
Judge's case number 166 on the calendar in the matter of Barris versus Howard. Parties have been sworn in.
Ms. Barris, when did you buy this car that is the subject of this case?
2016.
And how much did you pay for it?
$800, I want to see.
And how long is the car note that you had on the car?
It was a 6-year term.
And during the course of the loan on the car, you were required by the company to have both liability and collision insurance on the car.
Okay. Liability, not collision. So.
Well, if you have your original loan papers on the car, it will tell you that you are required to have liability and collision as long as there's a loan on the car. Now, you knew that, right?
No, I wasn't aware.
Okay. And how much insurance were you paying every month on this car?
$178 for liability.
Well, then you didn't have the right kind of insurance. And how much was the defendant, who was your friend, your roommate, she lived with you in an apartment, then she moved into, I think, your grandparents' home, your grandfather's house, and she lived with you there. I don't know where she is now. How much was she giving you, because she was using the car with your permission, how much was she giving you each month because you added her to your insurance so that she could be a driver?
Right.
How much was she giving you each month?
Half.
When she gave you half,
And she had been, a roommate for like a year at that time.
How long had she lived with your grandfather in your grandfather's house?
We lived there for like 8 to 9 months before this happened.
And how long did you live in an apartment together?
7 months, maybe.
Do you work in the same place?
We did.
When did you stop working in the same place?
When the company switched, our boss decided that he wanted to not be in charge of his company, and then he basically sold the contract to the original parent company, and we went back there, and we no longer work together.
No longer work together. Did you still work there, or did she still work there?
I still work there. She didn't.
Where did she go?
Oh, I'm not sure. She stopped working.
In what month did she stop working?
I believe the contract ended in the beginning of January.
Of 2021?
No, 2020.
2020. And you lived together until?
Until...
The end of the summer?
No, until June of 2020.
Yeah, she said she moved out in the summer. Do you know where she went?
No. I mean, I know where I took her. I took her to her mother's house, but I'm not sure, if she stayed there or what she decided.
Okay. That you had an existing loan, which of course is terribly usurious, and people should be, if they could possibly avoid it, not buy a car on a 6-year note where the payments are astronomical, because you bought this car in 2016, and when the car was ultimately towed because the defendant had an accident in the car, which she was driving with your permission and which you should have had insurance on, you had the car towed to the front of your house, according to your complaint, and then you stopped making payments on the car. In what month did she have an accident in the car? That was in February?
Right.
Of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
And you parked the car in front of your house, and you stopped making payments in what month?
March.
So in March, no payment. And in what month did the bank repossess the car?
March. Well, they picked it up from the tow lot, or from the impound lot.
Well,
that's when
they... But the car was parked in front of your grandfather's house.
The officer did not, when he watched this tow.
Don't tell me what the officer said, what the officer did. Miss Barrett paid for half the insurance. You told her what the amount was. She paid for half. You didn't have collision insurance on the car, which you're required to do if you have a loan outstanding on a car. Now they want from you $11,000 for the balance of the loan and money for towing. She said she had an accident. You want her to pay for all this stuff. It was your fault because you didn't have insurance.
Well, technically, I wasn't the one driving the car, and she took the car. And she was also...
Well, she didn't take the car. She had permission to drive the car, your permission to drive the car, and unless you
she
have
had access to the
police
car.
report, no, she had permission to the car, drive the car.
Okay.
And unless you have a police report, Ms. Barris, which you might have, which would change my mind, that shows me that the accident was her fault. If you have a police report that I can see that shows me that the accident was her fault, I may be more sympathetic with you. So let me see the police report where, if you have it, that just shows me that the accident was her fault. As I read her answer, she said somebody cut her off.
Also, some of the report is not correct.
I don't know. You don't know that either. You weren't there.
Oh, well, my house, and if he's saying lemon, my house is not on lemon, it's on orange. So that I do know.
Well, what you show me is the police, although it's cut off, Party 1 caused this collision by making an unsafe turn, an unsafe turning movement. The beginning of it, let's go back up again. There were no witnesses to this collision, and it says Party 1's statement, which he made to the police, turned south onto Lemon Avenue from Orange at a speed of approximately 20. Party 1 was not using a cell phone, was wearing a seatbelt, and had not been drinking. And she spoke to the police officer, so I assume you were not. Were you given a citation that day?
No.
As Party 1 completed the turn, a motorcyclist passed. She tried to avoid the motorcyclist and struck a fire hydrant. Summary, and then it just says a summary. She struck a brick wall and a mailbox and a fire hydrant. Party 1 was not injured. Party 1, I don't need to see pictures. It's not important.
I don't understand.
Is there a second part to that police report? It isn't.
No.
Okay, now I'm going to come over to the defendant for a moment, because I have to see if you have any responsibility at all, because the plaintiff's responsibility
Yes.
and not have her car repossessed, and if she had the right kind of insurance, she would have fixed the car, or the bank would have totaled the car, and she wouldn't be in the financial pickle she's in. But she didn't. Now, you went back to your mother's house after you left the plaintiff's grandfather's house?
Yes.
Is that where you're living now?
Yes.
With your mother?
Yes.
Are you working?
No, not right now.
Now, after this accident happened in February, is that right?
Yes.
And you stayed with the plaintiff until June, is that right?
Yes.
The car was towed in March, is that right?
Yes.
Did you and the plaintiff share a room in her grandfather's house, or did you have your own room?
We shared a room.
Did you continue to share a room in March, April, May, and up until June when you left?
Yes.
When you lived in the apartment together, prior to moving into her grandfather's house, whose apartment was it?
A friend, a mutual friend.
Did that friend live in the apartment?
Yes.
Did anybody other than the mutual friend live in the apartment?
No.
How many bedrooms were in the apartment?
2.
Did you and the plaintiff share a bedroom in that apartment?
No.
Where did you sleep and where did she sleep?
She slept in the room and I slept in the living room.
Why did you leave the apartment to go to her grandfather's house?
The other lease was up, so it was time to move.
When you moved to her grandfather's house, were you paying any rent?
No.
Was the plaintiff paying any rent?
I don't know.
Were you working after February?
No.
Who was supporting you?
I'll support myself.
How?
I get general relief.
Is it from the general relief that you gave plaintiff the money for the insurance?
Yeah, sometimes.
When you say sometimes from general relief and sometimes from your working?
Yes.
Would you tell me what happened on the day that you took the car and you had the accident?
Yes, so I was going to the store and I was making a left-hand turn and the motorcycle came from my right and he ran his stop sign and I was already in the midst of making my left-hand turn, so to avoid hitting him, I swerved and I lost control of the car, and that's when I hit the brick wall. Then the mailbox, and the fire hydrant.
And the car was not drivable?
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You can have your money and the woofer.
I actually want the item I purchased at the price I
Well,
purchased
I
at.
want to tell you something.
That I
want,
purchased twice
listen
for
to
her.
me. I want to be 5'8". It's never going to happen for me.
Your Honor.
Jasmine Barris claims former friend Mariah Howard borrowed her car and wrecked it. She is also suing for impound fees.
Now, when you called the plaintiff and let her know what happened, who arranged for the tow to the front of the house?
She did.
Had you always parked the car in the front of the house?
No, it would be parked in the driveway.
Did she say why she was leaving it in the front of the house?
Well, it was other cars in the driveway that would have to come in and out.
Other than you and the plaintiff, who else lived in the house?
Her grandfather, her son, and that's it.
And Zelda.
Oh, yes, Zelda.
How old is...
Well, she lived in her car, but in her...
She lived in the house. She lived at the house.
Okay. Prior to having the accident, how often had you driven the car?
Not often. We would be in the car together.
You'd be driving together, and who would...
I would say I probably drove it 3 times without her being in it.
And how often did you pay for the insurance on the car? How many months did you pay for insurance?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Should have had better insurance, Miss Barris. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties.
It is what it is, and ain't what it ain't.
I don't need better insurance. I need to have better friends.
I don't have no friends. They associates.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kofa versus Lore. Step forward.
Patience Kofa is suing Edwin Lohr for the value of a subwoofer she sold him via the internet.
Miss Kofa, I don't know what a woofer is or a tweeter. And at my age, I like to keep limited what information I have in here. I just don't want it to dissipate. I don't want to add any more useless information in my brain.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want to know about woofers and tweeters. We're going to treat this strictly as a business operation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Got it?
Yes.
Mr. Lohr, pay attention to me.
I will.
You sold the defendant on the internet. I've never done any commerce on the internet, but I understand that that's the way a lot of people trade these days. You sold him a woofer. A woofer is something that has to do with audio.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? He got it, and you didn't like what you got. You said it was not what I ordered.
Correct.
So you notified the company. In this case, I think it was Amazon.
Correct.
And they caused an investigation, whatever they do. And they gave you your money back.
Correct.
Money back. Did they take that money from you?
Your Honor, no. The money was never in my possession.
Just a second. So you never got paid for the woofer?
No.
But Amazon gave you money?
Correct.
And you also have her woofer?
That is correct.
You have to return it.
Okay, now here.
I want you to come.
Okay.
I want you to come to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to treat this strictly as a business.
Okay.
She started out with a woofer. She doesn't have a woofer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You started out with money.
Correct.
You still have your money.
Correct.
And you have her woofer.
Can I say something?
I just want to make sure we're on the
All right.
same...
Give me a chance to explain. The items
No, listen to me.
very
I don't-
large.
Just a second.
Okay.
Where is her woofer?
I have it.
Good. It has to go back to her. Okay. Now, if the issue is it will cost you some money to ship it back to her, that's something we can negotiate easily. But you can't have your money and the woofer.
I actually want the item I purchased at the price I
Well,
purchased
I
at.
want to tell you something.
That I
want,
purchased twice
listen
for
to
her.
me. I want to be 5'8". It's never going to happen for me.
Your Honor.
Listen to me. We all...
I understand, but you continue to advertise the item on Amazon.
Listen,
it's fraudulent.
Mr. Law,
And under
Mr.
her
Law,
instructions.
listen to me. You need a cathartic experience. Go to see Dr. Phil.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Would you like me to throw you out and dismiss your case? Is that what you want?
No, I would not.
You have 2 choices. Either you pay attention to my judgment, or I say, case dismissed, go back to Small Claims Court, New York. What's your preference?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Patience Kofa says Edwin Lohr owes for the value of a subwoofer she sold him over the internet. Edwin says Patience tried to scam him.
Now, you got your money. You're not satisfied with the product.
It was not what I ordered. It was a discontinued model.
Who do you live with?
My wife, my children. Oh.
Go home and drive her crazy. You're not going to drive me crazy. Let me explain something to you.
Your Honor,
she's not giving you what you want.
I understand, and I played hardball.
Good, fine. But listen, I got things to do, places to go. She has to get back her woofer.
I understand that, but she should not be able to continue pulling the scam online that she's pulling.
Go to see the Attorney General. Go to the Better Business Bureau. I am a court, and I have other things to do today, so she has to get her woofer back.
Your Honor.
What do you want?
At this point, I want Mr. Lohr to...
It's not going to happen.
It don't work.
Listen to me. Don't work. It's not going to happen.
Your Honor, Mr. Lohr has proclaimed to be a DJ, meaning he's been utilizing this equipment for a year.
Listen to me. Listen to me. It's coming back to you.
Your Honor,
It's coming back to you. You mailed it to him, is that correct?
I did, Your Honor.
How much did it cost you to mail it to him?
$111.43.
Do you have that?
I have the proof of delivery
no,
that
not
he
the proof,
received.
just how much it cost you, because whatever it is, I'm going to deduct that, so he's going to have to send it back.
Just the proof of delivery. But, Your Honor, Mr. Lohr has stated to me over and over when I attempted to get this item back, he was not going to return this item unless I sent him what he wanted.
Listen to me carefully. That's why you're here.
I agree with you. That is why I'm here.
No, you're not paying attention. Your lawsuit seeks the return or value of merchandise. I am ordering the return of merchandise less what it costs to ship it. That's what you're getting. That makes you whole.
Your Honor, he has refused
you can say Your Honor all you like.
He has refused to ship this for a whole year. He's not going to ship it.
Listen to me. You should have come sooner. Now you're here.
Your Honor.
Now I'm going to give you what you want, which is the return of your merchandise. Put your hand down. I don't want to hear you. Now, come from?
New York.
Great. You do want to get back to New York, don't you?
I'm having fun out here.
That's great. You want to give us back the tickets that we sent to you?
No.
Right. You know, I cut right to the chase.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The merchandise goes back to her. We're going to hold all the checks until she gets her merchandise back. We are eliminating from part of it, but it's going to cost you to send it back.
That's all I wanted from the beginning.
Just a second. But we're holding all the checks, yours too, until she gets her merchandise. Do you understand? Is that fair?
That's all I wanted from the beginning.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Great. Just as long as I have you on tape, it's fair, right? Perfect. Cost you $111?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. And how much did he pay for the woofer?
$900.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, can I ask
Judgment for the
something?
plaintiff.
Your Honor, he's been utilizing this merchandise for a year.
Would you like me to throw you out and dismiss your case? Is that what you want?
No, I would not.
You have two choices. Either you pay attention to my judgment, which I've now rendered, or I say, case...
Proceed, Your Honor.
What's your preference?
Proceed, Your Honor.
You are to return the merchandise within 5 days of your return, less the $100, which you will be awarded, and she gets her woofer back. Do you understand?
I understand.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I said, send my woofer back so you can get what you want. He said no.
I didn't want to get stuck paying shipping on an item. Why should it cost me money on her mistake?
How did I know he wasn't going to call Amazon again and get his money returned to him and have 2 of my properties?
I called her out on it. I played hardball. I've been scammed before online. It wasn't happening again.
I can no longer sell on Amazon.
I'm pretty surprised she's suing me because I feel like she's a fraud and trying to scam me from the get-go.
I chose him and I brought him home.
For what? And bring home for what?
A gift.
Don't lie to me.
A dog breeder was trying to be nice.
She was coming over every day to pet the puppies. I said, why don't you bring one home?
But the girl next door had other ideas.
Charlie told me that I was harassing her. The police called, said that I had perhaps tried to break into her home.
I don't believe that the plaintiff gave you this puppy.
Judy. Dog breeders, Mary and Michael Donnelly, are suing 18-year-old Charlie Friedman for the return or value of a purebred Australian Shepherd puppy and for filing a false police report.
Judge's case number 176 on the calendar in the matter of Donnelly versus Friedman. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Donnelly, you raise and breed Australian Shepherd dogs, and according to your complaint, you've been doing that for about 3 years. The defendant is a neighbor of yours, and sometime recently, you had purchased 3 dogs from another breeder or another facility. Was that also in September that you purchased these 3 puppies?
I'm going to say the purchase probably began in August and concluded in September.
When did you receive the puppies?
September 10th of 2020.
And who did you purchase them from?
Mallory, a breeder.
And how much did you pay for the 3 puppies?
Well, there were actually 4 puppies.
I want to know how much of a check or cash did you wire for the 4 puppies?
$4,300.
For all 4 puppies?
Yes.
Were there 3 males and 1 female?
There were 2 males. Those were the ones I was buying. The 2 females were added on at a lower price because...
Saying that it's been my experience when you bought puppies that the females were usually more expensive than the males.
Well, normally that would be true, but in this particular case, it was... Yeah.
Go ahead. It's just been my experience.
Right. The females were left over. They were still available, and she just gave me a lesser price if I would take them, and that way she was done. She had a young child, so...
Whatever. You paid $1,000 for this dog. Anyway, the dog came to you on September 10th. At some point when the dog came to you, the defendant came to play with the puppies. On what date did you allow Miss Friedman to take the puppy home with her?
The very next day. He came to me on the 10th through a transporter, which I paid for. That was another $350 per puppy. As soon as the puppies came in, I let Charlie know. She was waiting for them to come in as well as I was. And then she came on the 11th.
Okay. Now, after September 11th of 2020, because this is what your case is, you want the return of the dog.
Yes.
At some point, you let the dog stay with her overnight.
Yes.
According to you, your arrangement was so she could take the dog with her, but would have to bring it back at night.
It would be actually the opposite.
She could keep the dog at night and how to bring back the dog during the day.
Right. The idea was that she could have comfort with a puppy. She was coming over every day to pet the puppies. I said, why don't you bring one home?
Okay. The dog been with her full time, night and day.
September 18th would be what I would say, September 18th.
So since September 18th, the dog has been with her and not been with you?
Yes. There's a reason for that, though, that I'd like to share.
I would like to hear it.
Okay. It worked really well in the very beginning. The dog was supposed to come back, not every single day. I didn't clarify that. But the dog was supposed to be with us basically in the days and in Charlie at night. And that was so that we could do our testing, we could observe him, because it's more than just genetics that we're looking for. We're looking for the disposition. So we needed to know what the dog was like. But in the meantime, he could comfort Charlie, and it was working. So the first week went fine. The second week, we could see that there was a little bit of things, but I just felt that the parents can get together and work those things out. Charlie wasn't, really adhering to the agreement. And then by early November, it was obvious that she was not willing to agree to the agreement at all. So I was trying to get the dog back.
And the agreement, what was the agreement, Miss Donnelly?
That she can take him home that night. He's never off leash unless he's in his pen or inside their house. That he's well cared for and safe. So they have mountain lion and bear. That's just the area. They would bring him back to us in the daytime. Again, I didn't say every single day or something like that. And readily available for testing and breeding. The no neutering, but I definitely said that in there. The readily available for testing and breeding.
That was not to be?
Not to be neutered.
Did you have the dog neutered?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Great.
She tried to have him neutered on January 25th. That was the end. That's where I felt I can't work with her anymore. She said that she took the puppy home before she was 18. I thought she was 18, but when I looked, no. It was 13 days before her 18th birthday. She said that she was confused and that she wasn't old enough to make that kind of a decision. And so I've been trying to get her mom to come in, but her mom has been unwilling to get back to me. She just says she's busy.
Did you ever have her sign anything?
No.
When she took the puppy and you gave her those rules,
yes,
did she sign them or did she take them with her?
No. It was basically two friends talking. No. I was very clear about what the rules were.
Just a second. Ms. Friedman, I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. And I want you to understand that I'm sympathetic with your position, because not only sympathetic with your position, but you've had this puppy with you now all of its life that it can remember. And you've clearly, I'm sure, bonded with this puppy. But I want you to understand that I don't believe that the plaintiff gave you this puppy. And I believe she had bought the puppy for her breeding program. And now I can understand that the plaintiff would be more than happy if she saw that the dog was well adjusted and that you were taking care of the food and the vet bills and all of the other shots for the dog, that it would be terrific for her. And if she wanted to use the dog for breeding once or twice, then she would clearly get the value of her money back. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to understand, I don't think that she paid $1,000 and $300 to have the dog delivered and then just gave it to you. I want you to understand that.
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
So if you're going to tell me that, I'm not going to believe it.
Well, she gave me the dog.
If you're going to tell me that she just gave you the dog the day after she got it, because she's a nice person, I'm probably not going to believe it.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. So what I'm suggesting to you is don't lie to me. Got it?
Yes. Okay, so
now let's go back to September 11th and don't take a breath and remember what I said. You came to visit the puppies and
I got to choose out of 2 males that came from Tennessee, and I chose him and I brought him home.
Yada, yada, yada. What do you mean you got to choose? You mean she was making you a gift?
No, there was 2 male puppies that I got to pick out of and bring home.
Just a second. For what? And bring home for what?
A gift.
I've just told you I don't believe that. I'm just telling you that I don't believe that she just, unless you had an agreement with her.
We did.
Before, that she was going to give you a gift of a puppy. So tell me what the agreement was before the puppy arrived. Maybe I'll believe this story.
The agreement was that I would be taking care of him. He'd be my full responsibility, and that she would want to use him for breeding in the future when he was ready.
That I absolutely believe. Do you understand?
True. Yes.
Just a second. I absolutely believe that you and she had an arrangement that you could take the dog because you're a breeder. That's your business. And if you could use the dog for breeding and she would take care of it as a puppy, that's a home run deal. Am I right, Miss Donnelly?
Yes, we saw it as a win-win. We thought that this way the pup...
It was a win-win.
The pup had the best possible life.
It was a win-win.
Right.
It was a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And are you still going to abide by that agreement?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman, you're prepared to abide by that agreement?
Yes, Yes.
Good. Fine. Then, sure.
At this point, there's been so much going on with Charlie calling in a false police report saying that I believe she was trying to get a restraining order. The reason why the dog is still with Charlie is because we've been blocked from him for the last 2.5 months. I was told not to go up there anymore. Charlie told me that I was harassing her. The police called, said that I had perhaps tried to break into her home. Then she tried to have the dog neutered, and the dog has been off leash. I found him down at the bottom of their driveway at night. There's mountain lion, there's bear. She's not honoring any part of the agreement. None of it. There's no reason why she's going to start now.
Do you have the vet records for the dog?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at them. I'd like to see, did you have the puppy inoculated?
No, I did not.
Yes.
You didn't? Why not?
Well, I thought that was meant neutered.
No, yes, you did.
Oh, sorry.
Is that your dad?
That's
Let
my
him stand
father.
up with you. Let him stand up with you. Okay, I just want to know, you're Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Good. The dog has been to the vet and has had all of its shots, and you have proof of that?
Yes, she does.
Okay, I'd like to see it, please. Just put it up.
I gave him all his puppy shots.
Any other vet bills?
I chipped him, and he was that.
Okay, great.
I'd like to mention about the chipping, if I could.
Go ahead.
When Charlie said that she wanted to chip because she was afraid that the dog could get lost, I thought that was a good idea. I said, just give me the name, date, and time, and I'll be there as the owner. And Charlie said, never mind, or something like that, and it never came up again.
Well, Miss Donnelly, you understand the problem. You're the breeder. You understand the problem. And you said it very well. And I congratulate you for saying it very well. You said it was a win-win for everybody. It was a win for the dog, who I'd still like to see, by the way. The dog is here. Could I take a look at it? Could somebody put a camera on that dog? Well, he looks very well cared for. He looks beautiful and very well cared for.
The vet that they brought him to, the Missouri Flat Animal Hospital, they said that they had to ask her to leave with the dog, that he was uncontrollable and that he would have to come back. But when he came back the second time, it was for neutering, and she said he was much more behaved then. That's when the vet told Charlie that he's too young to be neutered. It's not in his best interest, and Charlie said to neuter him anyway.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I drove Charlie up to her house, and she told me that I gave Charlie the dog for her birthday.
Pay careful attention to me. Your daughter listened to what I said.
I know.
And she told me the truth.
Michael Donnelly claim Charlie Friedman stole their Australian Shepherd puppy and then filed a false police report against them.
Okay, what I'm telling you is he has not been neutered, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, unless she's done it after that.
Correct.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, it seems that you and the plaintiff had an agreement, Mr. Friedman.
I'd just like to say one
What?
thing. I drove Charlie up to her house like the day after she gave the dog to her, and that lady there, Mary, came up to my car, and she told me I hope you don't mind that I gave Charlie the dog for her birthday, because her birthday was just 2 weeks down the road.
Mr. Friedman, Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
pay careful attention to me. Your daughter listened to what I said.
I know.
And she told me the truth, which was Miss Donnelly said to her, you can pick which one you want. You take him home. It's a win-win. The dog will have a good home, somebody to have full attention. You will have the companion that you needed, and they will have the opportunity to breed the
Right,
dog
and that's what I was gonna
when
say.
they want to. That's what your daughter told me. That was their agreement. And that does sound like you understand that I am going to create an order that's what the two of you have agreed to. Miss Friedman, do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And I'll make that order for a finite time. How old, Miss Donnelly, would this puppy have to be before he can be bred for the first time?
I was planning on breeding him this summer when he's a year old. But, Your Honor, I can't work with Charlie. For her to call in a false police report telling me that I broke in, we're afraid to go...
Miss Donnelly,
yes.
Now we're going to have an order that's totally... Right now it's been acrimonious. This is not going to be acrimonious anymore because both you and Charlie are saying the same thing. You agree that you made a deal with her.
Yes, I do.
And the deal was that she could breed the dog. And you understand that in order to do that, she is going to pick up the dog and then return the dog to you once that breeding process is complete.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And is that what you're agreeing to?
Yes, I am.
That's what you're agreeing to?
Yes.
And how often, Miss Donnelly, do you usually keep the dog for how long during that breeding process?
It's just an afternoon, and it's probably 5 or 6 times a year. But the problem has been is that every time I've made an appointment for Charlie, I can't even get him tested or anything every time I make an appointment.
Miss Donnelly, you're not getting the dog back. I want you to understand that. So I want you to be more helpful to me in crafting a resolution. You're not getting the dog back. What kind of testing do you want for the dog?
Genetic testing. I need to observe him to see his disposition. There's a lot of things involved, but definitely genetic testing is the first thing. Every year they get the eyes done, then there's elbows and there's hips that gets x-rayed.
Just a second. What I'm telling you is for 1 year, you will be able to breed this dog 5 to 6 times. That's how I'm resolving this case. That's going to be for 1 year. That means for 1 year, 5 or 6 times. And if you want genetic testing, which I actually think probably is a good idea before you breed the dog, I will incorporate that in my order, which indicates that you are to have possession on 48 hours notice to the defendant that you're going to pick up the dog, or she'll bring the dog to you, which is probably even better, so that you can take the dog in to have the dog genetically tested. Do you want to bring the dog to her for genetic testing, or do you want her to come to you?
Go to her.
I think that that's a wiser idea.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you violate the conditions of this order, the hearing that enables her with a marshal to come and get the dog, do you understand that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dog breeders Mary and Michael Donnelly are accusing Charlie Friedman of stealing one of their Australian Shepherd puppies.
Now, she will bring the dog to you for genetic testing one time, and she will bring the dog to you up to 6 times for breeding for 1 year. Now, I want you to understand this. This is the order that you're consenting to. If you violate the conditions of this order, I will create another order without another hearing that enables her with a marshal to come and get the dog. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You own this dog conditionally for the next year when Miss Donnelly and her husband have the right to breed this dog in order to make back their money.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I think that that's fair. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
You're not getting the dog back.
I understand what you've said. I heard you, yes.
Right.
What I'm saying is that there's more than just the one-time genetic testing. There's the hips, there's the elbows. It's entirely possible I might not be able to breed him this year. It depends on his hips and elbows. Until eyes, hips, elbows, there are 3 different places, and the genetic is a 4th. I can't do it in one visit. It's not possible.
Okay, so if what you're saying is that you wouldn't breed him until he's a year old, when was his birthday?
July 26th, I believe.
You said July 6th.
Oh, I'm sorry, July 6th, correct.
So this July, he'll be 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, and you're not going to breed him until August 1 of 2021.
It depends on the testing.
Until...
So possibly...
I'm putting that in. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. This is a resolution. It's not perfect, but the dog is hers. I'm fashioning what I consider to be a reasonable resolution so that you're not out of pocket the money that you spent on this dog, so that you have some benefit from it. You haven't had the responsibility of feeding it and taking care of it for the last 5.5 months. But that's not your fault.
He's been...
That's not all your fault. But, Miss Donnelly, that's not the agreement you made with her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Are You the Victim? Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, in any event, from August 1st, 2021 to July 31st, 2022, you have the right up to 6 times a year to use the dog for breeding purposes. She will bring the dog to you, and if you need the dog tested on 3 additional days, either prior to or immediately after 8/1/2021, she is to deliver the dog to you on 48 hours notice for testing. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's the order. Thank you very much. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If you don't, the second order automatically goes into effect and she comes to your house with a marshal to pick up the dog.
Yes, Your
Got
Honor.
it?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, a party venue opened as the virus raged.
How many people were at your party? 20. A group of adults and children all together. For what? During a pandemic.
Judge Judy